Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Brothers and sisters, this is somewhat of a redux of the previous one. I noticed the sound was very bad, so I'm going to try to improve on that. And I'm going to cover a couple of other topics. The primary point of this particular presentation is to bring you in intimate contact with current events. We need to understand what's going on around us. We don't have anyone they don't know. Farrakhan is not talking about it. Salah's not talking about it. They don't know. They're blind. They don't know. That's why they're not talking about it. But we are talking about it. So let's move into the presentation. Okay. As I previously stated, we're here in America, slugged it out with Dr. Yaqub. Battle of the age. The battle of the universe. For who will control the universe? That's what's at stake here. This is comparable to the beginning. The so-called originator that expanded the heavens and the earth. Now we're closing the heavens and the earth. We're at the opposite end of the situation. We have completed the creation. 76 trillion years of work. Now who would inherit it? We got two slugging out for it. Analytical mind against the spatial mind. We kept the analytical mind in check for 76 trillion years. Now it's asserting itself. It wants to inherit our creation. So it's slugging out together. Dr. Shabazz prepared us for this period of time. So Dr. Yaqub made his move. Dr. Shabazz made his move. Now we're slugging out here in America. That's the essence of what's going on here. The analytical mind against the spatial mind. America, the most powerful nation on the earth, at least that's where it's perceived, against David, Goliath against David, nation on the planet. The most powerful nation on the planet against the weakest nation on the planet. That's what's going on. And it's a struggle to the end. It's a zero-sum game. Either you win or you lose. There's no in between. One will win, one will lose. One will survive, one will not. Who will survive the war Armageddon? You got two wills going on here. See the two wills there? W-H-E-E-L. You also have two wills, W-I-L-L. Two wills going on here. Two contrary wills. They cannot coexist. One will have to give way to the other. One will have to be crushed out of existence. Both cannot coexist. We have been here 20 years. We have not been able to coexist. It's impossible. So understand that, brothers and sisters. The Angel key to ignite the Angel bomb that's going to change reality. The most powerful atom bomb, A-T-T-O-M bomb, ever made for this particular purpose. Spatial mind against the analytical mind. You look around you, what you see is analytical mind. Everything you see came out, analytical mind. I'm talking about the universe out there. I'm talking about all things around you, your reality, your little goodies, television, iPhone, computers, all that came out of analytical. Well, actually came from the spatial mind, but the analytical brought into existence because they use our creativity. They need our creativity. Analytical mind cannot stand on its own. So it's desperate. It needs a spatial mind to feed it, to fuel it. Without a blueprint, the technical technician can't do anything. He needs a blueprint. Without a blueprint, he can't do anything. See? Needs a blueprint. And that's why they had us here. That's why they don't want to let us go. They need us. So their mind is to bring in the reality where they will not need a blueprint anymore. That's their cyborg vision, which you're not in. The cyborg vision, where they won't need the spatial. Now, analytical mind is a robotic reality they're trying to bring in. That's the only choice they have to survive. They can't survive without us in a biological reality. So they have to make mechanical reality. Wills within wills. You have to be in sync with one or the other. You have the master gear. It turns all the other ones. If you're in sync with that, everything's okay. If you're out of sync, you got pressure. And so you had two realities. They had us going in the wrong direction. But 400 years had us going in the wrong direction and put a monkey wrench in the gear. Slow it down. Elijah put us in neutral for 40 some years, preparing the way for Suleiman to take us into drive, positive direction. We've been going in the wrong, negative direction for 400 years, hating ourselves, beating ourselves up for the enemy. The enemy just sat back and watched us destroy ourselves. He gave us his mind. Run his mind is destructive for us because he's our enemy. So if we have his mind, that means we're self-destructive. So you got these wills within wills. So you Suleiman, the master will, to turn this thing all the way around. He's more powerful than their will. So that's what's going on. There's a struggle. Who will prevail? Survive the War of Armageddon, the Battle of the Wheels, the W-H-E-E-L and W-I-L-L-L, the Battle of the Wheels. They're doing everything to turn the story about Jesus in the desert. He was weak, hungry. So they try to tempt him. Well, if you go along with me in my direction, I'll give you all of this. He said, no. No, it's not going to happen. I'm going to get all. See, you're not going to break my will. I'm going to break your will. That's what's happening. Look around you. Their will is constantly being compromised. W-I-L-L and the W-H-E-E-L. Heard of critical race theory? Now they admitting that they're devils. They're teaching their own children they're devils. They're wicked. The whole country is shit. See? It's turning it. They're breaking. Because that's what Elijah Muhammad taught. Farah came and taught that. And now, since the breaking of the seals in 1990, this wouldn't happen before then. Now you see, they're going, their will is being broken. Their will is being broken. Now they're teaching against themselves. They're confused. They don't know what to do. Some want to get rid of us. Some want us, hey, let's be nice to them now. They see God's coming after them, trying to get you to sell out your inheritance with reparations and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that. Wills against will. Who will survive the War of Armageddon? Wills within wills. W-H-E-E-L and W-I-L-L. Who will survive? Let's play this one.
The Chicago suburb of Evanston, Illinois, will become the first city to pay reparations to Black residents for past discrimination and the lingering effects of slavery. The plan starts off by distributing a total of $400,000 to eligible Black households. Mike Tobin is live in Chicago to explain how this is all going to work. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Dana. Proponents say this is the first time the United States is moving in the right direction with the first program wearing the label reparations. It is described as reparations for discriminatory housing policies and inaction by the city of Evanston, as you mentioned, the Chicago suburb. But critics say this is a housing program dressed up as reparations. It passed by a vote of 8-1 in the Evanston City Council last night. It establishes a fund of $400,000 generated from sales tax on cannabis. Now, the fund has a cap of $10 million, and from that fund, Black residents of Evanston can get $25,000 grants to use for down payments, mortgage assistance, and home repairs. Now, the lone dissenting vote, Alderman Cicely Fleming, noted that the money is just not enough to make an impact, and it assumes Black people can't manage their own money. Some residents object to calling it reparations in the first place.
Us as members of the Black community, it's completely unacceptable to try to create a reparations program and ship that off to the rest of the nation as reparations and use that as a model.
Black people could own or live. To qualify for the grant, a person must prove that he or she lived in Evanston from 1919 to 1969 or is a descendant. Also, if a person can show that he or she has been discriminated against due to city policies. But one of the things that Alderman Fleming notes is that $25,000 a grant, $400,000, means that 16 people can see some kind of benefit. Dana?
Interesting. All right. Mike Tobin, thank you. 10 people killed in a hail of bullets at a crowded supermarket in Boulder, Colorado.
Strengthening time.
See? That reparations is a trick. Trying to get you to sell out your inheritance. You accept that reparations, that means you null and void, you void the contract, the Abrahamic contract. Because you have a contract with God. 400 years in this hellhole, and your reward, your compensation is the best part of planet Earth, the promised land, which is now inhabited, called Arabia. If you accept some other deal, you void the contract. That's what they're trying to do, because the money is actually worthless. We're going to see that in a minute. The money is actually worthless. I'm not going to go into all the details about that, but to take it, that means you void your part of the contract. You're not voiding mine, because as long as anyone remains faithful to the contract, they will be rewarded. There's only one person, that one person will get the inheritance.
With North Korea and Russia, many saw this coming after a tense meeting. Chinese officials struck a deal with North Korea, and Russia's foreign minister plans to visit the country this week. All that happening as Secretary of State Anthony Blinken pushing U.S. ties with NATO today. And as climate czar John Kerry is set to hold a meeting with his Chinese counterpart. How's that going to go? KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump. KT, good morning to you. Saw your piece at FoxNews.com. Make your case. How's this going to go?
The Chinese came to Alaska, and they basically...
Administration set up toward China. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yes. The Biden administration has not undone most of what President Trump did. And in fact, even yesterday, the Biden administration put down new sanctions along with other U.S. allies, new sanctions against China. That's really great, but I don't think it goes far enough because of the Chinese action now. I think the step, well, number one, make sure we continue defense spending. Number two, really push for technological superiority, whether that means U.S. investment, STEM education in the United States, to push to continue to maintain it, but then to safeguard it. And then finally, to build up alliances that are not just talking about how bad China is, but taking real steps. I think there's a possibility of making a new NATO-like alliance, security alliance, between the United States, Japan, Australia, and most importantly, India.
Very interesting. What's that front? You were listening to our last segment about spending trillions. How's that going to go when the Chinese own that money?
Hey, look, what nobody's paying any attention to is that the Chinese are the largest foreign debt holder of American debt. Okay, so who are we borrowing that money from? Well, we borrow it from each other, but we borrow it from the Chinese. And the Chinese know that. It was something we discussed during the Trump administration. This is like taking a mortgage out on your house, and your mortgage holder is your biggest competitor and potential enemy. You know you can't pay that mortgage back. And what happens if your enemy decides to call in the mortgage? You know, I'm not comfortable with China having the mortgage on my house.
Yep. I think you'd find agreement there. Katie, it's nice to see you. Katie McFarland, goodpiece.com. Thanks for coming in. We will speak again very soon. Great point about the trillions,
Thanks,
right?
Phil.
Trillions.
Right.
You back
Another reason that people should pay attention to the money, but it's hard to do when there's a lot going on. I get it. But someone's got to figure it out. And we'll do that here for everybody. And
There you go. Telling you the money's worthless. See, China and America is on a collision course, as I've been telling you for years. Telling you in Daniel, it's the goat coming from across the sea without touching land, as China and India on a collision course with America. And the angel, it calls it death in Hades. On a collision course with America, the 10 kings that will hate the harlot. And who are they guided by? They're guided by Farad. It says, it's God that put in their minds and hearts to do it. They're being guided. So when Farrakhan is telling you, he's going to, if anybody attacks America, he's going to fight. He's going to help fight America. He's going to help fight. He's talking about he's fighting against Farad. The man is not with Farad. If you don't understand the angel. In fact, you have to understand the angel to see that one, because Elijah Muhammad said, right, that it'll be this war, the fall of America. It says God will be attacking America. So if Farrakhan says he's going to defend America, who is defending America against? Who is he defending America against? You better pay attention to what he's saying, telling you going to war with Farad. He doesn't believe in Farad at all. America's on a collision course with China. We can see that. All the things the angel been talking about is a coincidence. 1990, all these things wasn't coming together like this. This scenario that angel talks about. Now, all these things are present at this particular time, 16,000 years from the beginning. And all of a sudden, all the things they talk about is coming together just exactly like they said. So you think the cloud's going to come, and the lightning, and the thunder, and it's not going to rain? Do you think that? You see the clouds rolling in, thunder and lightning, and you think it's not going to rain? The wind is blowing, you think it's not going to rain?
All right, and now for something completely different. The former National Intelligence Director is revealing a new government report on UFOs will be full of never before seen or heard intel.
Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. So we're talking about objects that, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for.
Okay, joining us right now to discuss is Lou Elizondo. He is the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, a Pentagon unit that studies UFOs. Lou, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So part of the evidence apparently is going to show UFOs or some, they're just unidentified objects breaking the sound barrier without a sonic boom. How is that possible?
Well, I think that's probably the crux of the problem, that we are seeing these, let's call them vehicles, if you will, that are incurring into controlled U.S. airspace, that are displaying performance characteristics that are frankly well beyond anything that we can either replicate or in some cases really even understand.
Yeah, how it's possible, given the speed and the altitude and things like that, the turns and everything like that. I'm sure you've got the top physics experts in the world working on this. Can they come up with any explanation?
I think as we begin to look at this, we're beginning to realize that a lot of this really isn't breaking the laws of physics. What it's doing is really breaking our understanding of the current laws of physics that we are looking at. In essence, these things, if you look at quantum physics, there's a lot of modeling right now that suggests that a lot of this performance can be explained if you have a really deep understanding of quantum physics. And by the way, you're absolutely right. There's there's 5 unique observables that these things are displaying. One is instantaneous acceleration. The second one is hypersonic velocity. The third one is a bit of an oxymoron, but it's low observability. And then the fourth one is transmedium travel, the ability to operate in different environments. And then the last observable is this, if you will, this weird positive lift or anti-gravity, where you have these vehicles with no wings, no control surfaces, no engines, and yet somehow they're able to fly and frankly outperform some of the very best aircraft that we have in our inventory.
Unbelievable stuff. So when people say, "Oh, you're in that business," how do you explain these UFOs?
Sure. Well, my business has always been that as an investigator. I was an intelligence officer for the U.S. government, so my business was just to find the truth, whatever the truth is, whether it's a terrorism investigation or counterespionage. Yeah, we applied the same methodologies we did investigating terrorist, if you will, operations and operatives as we did with this. And the information is very compelling. It's real.
Okay, it's real. Are they from another planet?
Well, I
No.
think it's too early to tell. The 3 options that have been presented that is
They know
our
where they're
secret
from.
technology, but we've done a terrible job at coordinating the testing of this technology for decades with ourselves, which is highly unlikely. The second option is that it's foreign adversarial technology, which, if you were to ask me, would be a huge intelligence failure of this country because we've been technologically leapfrogged. Or the third option is that it's something completely different. If it's not ours and it's not theirs, well, then it's someone or something else.
I can't wait for this report to come out. Lou, thank you very much for joining us today. Interesting stuff.
Sure, my pleasure.
We're going to set aside and...
Okay, we'll talk about this a little bit. I may play this again at the end because it looks like it may have been a little interruption there. Anyway, they know where this is from. They can't tell you. They can't admit it to the people, but they've been confronted with this. China and Russia's already admitted they sent their fastest and most powerful jet fighters up at these so-called UFOs, and they was taken out. America's doing the same thing, but they won't publicize theirs been taken out. They're the most powerful country in the world. See, nothing can stand against them, so they can't have people think that these things could, take them out. Let's move on. Now I'm going to talk about this a little bit, see, because they have no idea talking about quantum physics. Quantum physics is powerful, but it's not. That's not it. It's just a theory. Just a theory. That's all it is. And it's not correct. That's why they can't figure this stuff out. What they need a proton engine. They don't know what that is. They can't produce one. And even if they could produce one, it would have minimal benefit for them. Because the speeds that this thing could attain, they could never use the maximum power of it because they have no way to get out there into the universe. Because they need to know the space lanes. It's like having a Lamborghini in the middle of a jungle. See, you can't do anything with it. You don't have no roads or anything. See, trees and everything. I mean, it would do you no good. And without having the lanes to get out, safe lanes, because move at that speed, you have to have a clean lane. It can't be anything in your way. Nothing, not even a penny. Move those speeds. Speed of thought, 24 billion miles per second. We move fast than that, fast we want to. They say, "Oh, speed of light is the limit." That's totally erroneous. That's energy limit. That's not mechanical limit, so to speak. Just if you do the math, if those of you that are math capable, right? If you accelerate at 32 feet per second, right? Say you're a magnet, you have the power of a magnet. Say you were a unipole magnet. I talk about that. I'm not talking about that here, right? Because it's the bipolar magnet that keeps it stable. If it was unipole, that means it would accelerate from the Earth. So if you could make that just accelerate at 30, how fast would you be going? Because you don't need a magnet doesn't need any fuel, anything. So it's accelerating at 32 feet per second, which is simulate gravity. So how fast you be going in a week? How fast you going in a month? You're going way past the speed of light. Because you're getting faster every second. Every second you're going 32 feet faster than you was doing the second before. See? And so we can accelerate much faster. We can start a high acceleration of that. That's why this is not the wheel. This is just a basic schematic, which you have to have two engines, two proton engines, one above, one below. And you calibrate them where there's a differential where it will produce 32 feet per second, in an acceleration, 30 feet per second. So that means simulate gravity. So that way the people inside will have will not be impacted, have no sensation of movement. It's like we have no sensation of movement sitting on, stand upon the earth. And so therefore, you can start out at 100 feet per second, 1,000 feet per second, 10,000 feet per, 10,000 miles per second. As fast as those powerful engines are, so as fast as you want, and be no sense of acceleration. That's what you mean by instantaneous acceleration. See, they don't understand that. So that's what you do. You have to have one on top, one on the bottom. And you have to move in the direction of the arrow, not sideways. Because then you have to have a situation where you have to have two engines on the sideways too. You don't need that. See? That's what it is. And the proton engine, they'll have no idea how to do that, how to make it. Like I said, if they made it, they would be limited, right, to pretty much just the solar system. And if they get out to the universe, they wouldn't be able to get out there in the speeds that they would need to. They wouldn't even be able to achieve the speed of light. They couldn't, because you need highways, you need pathways. You need powerful computers to do that. We can do that. They can't. I'm not going to talk anymore about it, right? But they're going to see these things pretty soon. These things go into action. The war, they're not going to China first. The war in the Middle East is about to break out any day now. That is the flash point. That's the ignition point for World War III. That's the ignition point, that war. Once that war breaks out, then they go into war with China, going to war with Russia, they're going to war with their former allies, EU. America's been at war with everybody. Okay, let's move on. This way, this thing would move in the direction of the arrow there. This way it would move. Accelerate any speed you want, 24 billion miles per second, instantaneously. Here it is again. They can't touch it. Like I said, even if they could, they'd have computers that will tell them exactly where every star is, where every atom is. They get out there. The Quran says a garden is wide as the heavens and the earth. A garden is wide as the heavens and the earth. It would not be a garden if we could not get out there in a meaningful period of time. See, we can get out there as fast as you can go from here to California, right? From the East Coast to the West Coast, driving, you can get to the near stars much quicker. You'll see, brothers and sisters, these wheels are about to go into action. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about this right here. We're talking about this last plague. Some have got it confused. They thought COVID-19 was the last plague. You got to read Exodus. Exodus is not in chronological order. It's part of being under veil. But it's the last plague. It says, cause them to drive you out altogether. What's that mean? So I'm going to show you what that means here. See, this last plague will be a demon plague, a locust plague. There'll be a locust plague. They're coming after you because now you see God's coming after them. And so now they have a choice. Either submit or die. And either way, it's no choice, really, because we don't want them either way. We don't want them either way. And they have they're in a quandary because we're their wealth. Without us, they could not have produced this. Look at all other European nations. You see them innovative like America is? Why? Because they don't have the creativity. They don't have us there. They don't have the creativity. They don't have us there. We're the gold and the silver. They talk about we leave out with. We leave out with ourselves. They don't have the creativity. They're technical. You give them the schematics. You give them blue. They can take run off with it. Same thing in China. See, China is more technical than them. I'm not going into details. They're more technical than them. You see all the stuff. They haven't come in new. They haven't come in nothing new. They just take what they have and take it to another level. But they haven't come with any new ideas. They haven't been creative. They've been highly technical. They take that. That's why they say China says stealing all of America's ideas. Well, where's America getting it from? They get it from us. They ain't stealing from Russia. Russia hasn't come with any new innovation. Has they? Have they? Have Germany come with any new innovation? All the innovations come from here. Why? Because we're here. And they're stealing our ideas, and you don't understand what's going on. They're stealing ideas and having the demons help them do it. The ones look like us, talk like us, and walk like us, but not us. They're stealing our ideas, our creativity. That's why they can't let us go. They let us go, right? They stall. No ideas what I'm going to do. About having no blueprints. So they got a problem. They let us go, they stall. And they keep us, right? Then you got all those other problems because it takes a lot of energy to keep us down, keep us in submission. And they run out of energy. They're bankrupting themselves trying to keep us under control. They sell those jobs to China trying to keep us under control, keep us from getting strong. But now China's becoming back at us. It's boomerang. It's backfiring. They sent all the technical jobs in India to keep us under control. Now it's backfiring. It's all the agriculture jobs across over the border. That's backfiring. All this is an attempt to keep us under control. Abortion, keep our numbers down. Everything is backfiring on them because you got two conflicting wills. And now the God's on the scene to enforce that contract. And you got Suleiman here. He's the master will that's grinding their wills down and force them into submission. You say, oh, no, well, you can't see the wind, can you? But you can see the trees swaying and you see leaves rustling, right? That's how you know the wind's blowing. So look all the damage going on in America. You saw everything. America's in a total conflict now. Extreme stress. All the institutions extremely under extreme stress, being stress tested. Why? This wouldn't happen before 1990. So here we go here, right? So it says, be one this last, see, there's the plague, the COVID-19, that's 1619 to 2019. 1619 to 2019, 40 years, then there'll be a plague. We came in 1555, read the story of Joseph. See, Joseph was sold into captivity by his brothers, his envious brothers that knew that he was going to rule. See, they found he was going to rule, and so they said, let's get rid of him. So they sold him into captivity to America's Egyptians, where he was imprisoned and forced to use his abilities, his wisdom, right, to solve their problems. He saved them, solved their problem. That's where they stole their ideas, how to farm and all that kind of stuff. They stole that because they didn't know that. That's why they came over here, because they ruined Europe because they didn't know how to do these things. That's why they came here. They was looking for a place. The farmland was gone. They ripped off all destroyed all their topsoil and everything, right? Everything was falling everything's falling apart, and they brought us over here. They brought in Joseph, right? The first ones, they brought for 64 years. They robbed us of all ideas and everything else. And then it was Joseph's descendants after him that was enslaved. Read the story. His descendants after him was from 1555 to 1619. They was ripping off prison cages and ripping off ideas. See, and taking our children, preparing them for enslavement. Enslavement started 1619. So listen to Lion Farrakhan, and it took 1619 to 2019. That was the terms of the Abrahamic covenant. The covenant, the term part of enslavement, not the part of being both here, being converted into slaves. The term was the term of enslavement, 1619 to 2019. Then we have a plague that would kill the firstborn, which is the elderly. And then there'll be a plague that will drive us out here all together. That's what's coming, the locust plague. So that's what's happening here. See, the silver and gold is the original people and Nation of Islam. That's why we go out we're all going out all together. Not just them, but when they talk about here, they're saying they're going to drive it all together. That means they're going to drive all black folks. That's all together, all black folks. That's what you're going to see right here when the four winds blow. Because that locust plague is going to be so terrible. It's going to cause insurrections. It's going to cause these Christian blacks, demons, master's children. It's going to tear this country. It's going to be so bad that it's going to be insurrection. It's going to be a race war between blacks and whites in this country. When that locust starts, that's why it's going to be a war. Because not only that, why are they doing this? Why are they rebelling like that? Partly, you already see the rebellion already start taking place. But all the other stuff, when this war comes out, that's going to be part of it. Because they're going to start when they got China is coming. 200 million man army, China and India, the only ones to put that together. And they're going to want to draft. They're going to draft everyone. And they're going to resist the draft. And they already stated, they're afraid that if their war breaks out, that blacks are going to join on with the enemy against them. So you remember what happened back in Japan? When they had a war with Japan, they got all the Japanese together, put a concentration camp. Same thing could be one to do with blacks. It'll be total insurrection. I'm not going to go, I talked about it earlier, I'm not going to go into much detail here about it. But that's what's going to happen. I mean, it drives all together. It could be a war between blacks and the whites in this country. Now that because also the Abrahamic covenant is already exposed because false Israel is going to go down in this war that's going to ignite it. And the war with Iran, that's going to take down false Israel, whose only purpose of being is to prove that we were not the seed of Abraham. Now they're gone. The evidence is clear that we are true seed of Abraham. That means that we're true seed of Abraham. Then who are they? That puts everything in perspective. The dragon in perspective, everybody, because the dragon they got a problem now. Because now the state, if we're true, that means that land's ours. They don't want that. It says they're going to attack it. Read chapter 12. It says they're going to attack. The dragon's going to attack the woman that going to attack the NOI. See? So they're going to make war with the Lamb. So you got the Sunnis against us. They're against it all the time. But it's going to be crystal clear then. It'll be total insurrection in this country. The Sunnis going to go crazy because now they lost possession of Mecca, Medina, all the holy places. The Shia control it now. It's going to be a big, terrible time of unprecedented trouble. So let's look at this. See here? The locust. Let me move myself. See, the locusts, in America. America's fallen. This is the war. They've been kicked out of the Middle East, right? Now the locusts, the demons, right? They're at war in America. America's at war with China, North Korea, at war with Russia, war with EU, right? And I'll soar within and soar without. So America's going to need to draft everyone they can, and the black folks are going to not do it. They're going to be so few, but not. So they have to have them. So now you got a conflict with the military. See? Okay. So that gives you some idea about what's about to happen. Okay. So right here. Four winds blow, it drives us all out together. The demons and the saints all to come together. See? Come all run to NOI. Who's going to be on control? Suleiman will be in control, and his people will be in control of the NOI at that time. Farrakhan and his demons dispatched. Come all together. That's what it means. And drive out all together. That will take place here in America. That judgment will take place here in America, where the demons will be separated out. And then, separate out, then we're going home. Then we're going home. That's this year. A few more days. Messenger of the covenant that will come after Elijah, suddenly come to his temple. That's what it means. Suddenly come to his temple. He said mosque, say synagogue, say church. Suddenly come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant. So how you going to say Elijah Muhammad is the last messenger if they tell you in that Malachi, the messenger of the covenant, another messenger that comes to Elijah Muhammad's temple. They clean it up. Clean up of what? Elijah's mess or Farrakhan's mess? Farrakhan had the people roaming around in the wilderness for 40 years. That's what it says. First come God. He would raise up Elijah. Elijah would teach people 40-some years. You have a spokesman, Farrakhan, spokesman. And then in Elijah's absence, the spokesman went crazy, was a hypocrite, liar, deceived the people, trying to turn people's hearts back to America. We ain't going nowhere. Bring devils into no eye. Bring Mexicans into no eye. Bring Chinese into anybody. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to take some 6 states over here or something. He's not teaching the covenant. See? Bring devils into no eye. Devils ain't devils anymore. Listen. That's what's happening. See? That's what's happening. And then after Aaron does this thing for 40-some years, right? Farrakhan, then he's captured, and all his people are destroyed with him. And then the priesthood, the high priest, is transferred over to Joshua. Suleiman, who takes you home. The messenger of the covenant, he's the one who takes you home. The fulfillment of the covenant. Okay, then we're going to talk about this one last thing here. This thing about the talents. See, the story about the talents, read it carefully. See, that exposes Farrakhan. See, so before I do that, take 1 second to review it. Someone's at the door. I'll be right back. Okay, brothers and sisters, talk about these talents, then we wrap it up. Now, the reason why I chose these talents in this particular presentation is because it's easy to map into the angel key. Because all those stories, the angel key unlocks the scriptures. The angel key unlocks the scriptures. Period. Without it, that's why it says it's seven seals. Seven seals. See? So the angel key unlocks it. Without it, you cannot unlock the scriptures. The scriptures are sealed. The scriptures tell you that. It takes Suleiman to unlock the seven seals. So I use a particular story to show how map it in there, show you the power of it, because it's simple to understand. But it also exposes Farrakhan. Because see, Farrakhan is a liar, and there's no scripture that supports the graph he's talking about. So he hides, he said, well, he's this person, he's that person. Say, come to the volume of the books, he's this and that. And every time he hides on the rock, I lift the rock, expose who he is, he find another rock. And I keep exposing him. That's why I said the demon-possessed man, he was crying, please stop exposing us. Please stop exposing us. That's what he told Suleiman when he saw Suleiman coming. Please stop exposing us. We don't want to go away. Please don't make us leave the country. Read it. But all those scriptures bear witness that he is a demon, right? A liar and a hypocrite. Those suits fit him. They're tailor-made for him. But he don't want those suits. He wants the suit of Suleiman. He wants the suit of the Christ, the anointed one. But those suits don't fit him. You have to make some severe alterations. So his people have to tell lies and twist stuff. They change stuff around about who the son of perdition is. It says, be not deceived, right? The fallen away will come first. But he tells you, no. You got to reverse the whole thing. No. I'm revealing who the Satan. And then the fallen away comes. That's what the scriptures say. Just like the story about Joseph. He twists that story around. He said, no, Joseph is after the enslavement. So we're going to inherit the kingdom that was, because you destroyed Joseph saying, we're going to inherit the place where we were slaves at, because Joseph took control of the kingdom. So he switched it around. But it said, no, Joseph was first, and then enslavement took place. But you got to make all these severe alterations to try to prove that he's somebody he's not. But if you leave it like it is, the suit of Aaron, suit of son of perdition, the suit of the demons, legion, all those suits fit him 100% perfect, tailor-made. So we're going to talk about this talent thing here. So your talents here, those are called talents. Okay, so that's the structure. So we'll move into it. Okay, the talents. And the talents they're talking about, three parties here: Farad, Elijah, and Lion Farrakhan. So it says, one was given 5 talents. Here's the talents here. See that? That's Farad. He got 5 talents. Now, talking about musical skills and that kind of stuff. They talking about, that's a word for money. Another word for money, talents, or what something of value, right? Okay. And then it said another was given 2 talents. See, it comes from here. He's given 2 talents. So he's subordinate to Farad. He's given 2 talents. See? And then another one, see, he was given 1 talent. See? So that's Farrakhan. He was given 1 talent. He was given the Nation of Islam. Remember the story about Elias, where he wanted 2 talents? He wanted a double portion of Elijah's spirit, which was also the talents, because those are also spirits. But he didn't get them because he had to witness Elijah when he went to see Farad. But he didn't, because he said, the first thing he says, where's the God of Elijah? Because he didn't see it, so he didn't get it. So he got 1 talent. See? So that's See how it's spread out there? Okay. Then the first one, he took his 5 talents and invested them. And we see on the right is what happens after the resurrection. We return back to home, right? This construction, which those that study angel recognize that as being the ark. So now he has those 5 talents. That's when the ship has replaced the demons because they're cast out. That's the new structure, new heavens, new earth. So that's the 5. He has 5. So he invested, he got 5. He said he immediately did his. He immediately went and did business with his. See, right away. See, that's what it's talking about here. Then it said the one that had 2 talents, he did the same thing. Immediately he invested too. That's Elijah. So then in the new kingdom, right? Once the new heavens, new earth, right? He has those 2 talents. Those are Levites. Because he will be in control of what's called Africa. What we call Africa now. He will rule that. But Pharaoh will rule the whole thing because he's the God. But he'll be under Pharaoh, right? Let's go back here for a minute. See? He's under. Well, let's go back one more. See, here's Pharaoh. Pharaoh's the God. He controls the whole thing. Elijah right here is right under him, right? He will be, right? Okay, understand that. See, he's under him. What did I show you here? See, Elijah would be there, right? Okay. So here's Elijah now. Elijah vests his. Now he has these 2. See, he gets to rule all of what we call Africa now, under Pharaoh. Then you have Farrakhan. He has had 1 talent. He went and buried his. He went and buried his. You see? So it was taken away from him because you read this. I'm not going to read it for you. You read it, say, dug a hole and hid it. This is the falling away, right? Hid it. He didn't invest it. So it was taken away from him. He was thrown in the fire and was given to the one who had 10 talents. The 5 and 5. That's fire. This is new construction, new heavens and earth. That's Farad. That's the story. Read the story. See, you see it right here? See, when the falling away, the demons will be down here. He dug a hole and put it down here. That's what it's talking about. See? So that's Farrakhan. He ain't built a damn thing in 42 years. He built for itself. He's supposed to prepare the way for Suleiman. He didn't. He's supposed to build a bridge from Elijah to Suleiman. He didn't. He built matches for himself. He had the NOI built match for himself. Then he took and infected it with devils and demons and everything else. That's the whole story of Peter. See? That's what he did. He didn't produce a damn thing for it. What does he produce? Nothing. 42 years. Scientology, a lot of BS. Produce anything. Elijah Muhammad left an infrastructure behind. Jobs, homes, banks, stores, industry. With Farrakhan, if he left there tomorrow, what would he leave behind? Nothing but Scientology and Sunniism, praying at the Sunni mosques. Think about it. So he didn't invest in anything. He couldn't even maintain where Elijah Muhammad left. He tore it down, actually, because he's with Satan. See, those who do not accept that Suleiman is Farad's son. Suleiman was David's son. David is Farad, spiritual son. It says they all have the spirit of the Antichrist. Who is the Antichrist? So that's a big subject. That's a heavy subject there. See? That's false Israel. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand that. Well, I made it clear. Hope the sound is better this time because it was not too good the last time. So I try to talk a little clearer. Okay? So hope you understand that. So Farrakhan is the one that had one talent. That was who's controlling the Nation of Islam? Him. That's the story right there. That means it's got to be him. Who followed after Elijah? Farrakhan. That's got to be him. See the people, turn people around, try to turn the hearts back to Egypt. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's it. Try to bring up to date with current events. Try to understand how this thing about talents work. So you can use that because like I was trying to explain to explain to the brothers and sisters that a master swordsman doesn't manufacture a sword, but he's a master of wielding the sword. So if you can't manufacture a sword, brothers and sisters, wield a sword. You got all the swords, I manufacture all these swords for you. You got all these videos explaining all these different subjects, explaining all these different verses. Adam and Eve, right? David and Goliath, Samson, right? This one here, the talents. All these different things. See, the demon-possessed man in Mark. Those are all swords. So if you're still not strong enough to manufacture, to break the engine down and make swords, then be a master of the swords that you have. Master of wielding those swords. Because they're powerful. I'm going to keep manufacturing them for you. See? So until you get strong enough to start manufacturing swords for yourself, take the swords that's already manufactured and be a master of wielding those swords. Because they can't stand against these swords. All that crap they can't prove anything they're saying. Nothing. They're in a belief matrix. See? They're in what I call it, illusorum. Illusalam. Not Jerusalem, Illusalam. That means they took you out of Jerusalem and put you in Illusalam. That means city of illusions. So nothing's real. You can't prove anything. Nothing's real. You watch TV. You live in someone else's life. Wouldn't you rather have those adventures yourself with your family and your friends instead of watching somebody 2 and 3 and 4 hours a night, watching other people do those things, pretending to do them? That's what you're doing. Sitting out there getting fat, eating chips, watching that stuff when you could be living that life. The universe was designed for you to live that life. That's why you got all these planets out there, trillions of them. So you have total adventure, 24/7, always doing something. You won't even have to sleep in the hereafter. You always have so much to do. I mean, it says our sea will be as the sand of the sea. That means be trillions of us. All kinds of things to do. These planes to get anywhere you want to get in the universe. So why you want to sit around there? They illusions. So you watch someone else fake adventure. Illusions. Then you go out here and you're worshiping idols. Oh, I'm with Kobe. I'm with King James. So you're wearing their paraphernalia, right? And now, who are you? You don't see you see them. So you being somebody else because you hate yourself. So now you pretend to be someone else. Oh, look at me. I'm like King James. So you don't care about yourself? We don't see you, we see them. We don't see you, we see them. Do you understand? We don't see you, we see them. We don't see you, we see them. So you live in illusions. Living in illusion. Living in illusion. A dream world. Then they give you a false reality. Why do they call it a reality? Real, real. Reality, real. But you don't have a reality because you have a religion. It's not real. Your religion is not real. You can't prove it. They tell you, don't worry about the proof. No evidence. Just have faith and belief. They got you the belief matrix. Just believe. Just believe. Just have faith. No facts. So what's the difference between being a Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or Sunni or whatever? Because you don't know if it's true or not. You just got to believe it. So what's the difference? So it depends on where you're born at then, right? So God's going to get you because you was just born in the wrong place? Does it make any sense? Nothing makes any sense because you're not thinking. They're taking your power to think away. Because your religion is your reality. And the only true religion is mathematics because everything around you is mathematics. The only real reality around you is mathematics. All the other stuff is BS. So that means you are not thinking. You lost the power of thought. Because your reality is your religion. And your religion tells you don't think. So if somebody with a cross around their neck, that means they're telling you they're mentally dead. Because there's no thought went behind that cross. There's no thought went behind Christianity. There's no thought went behind Judaism. There's no thought went behind Hinduism. No thought went behind Sunnism. There's no thought involved. Just have faith. So that means you're not a thinking person. That means you're a beast. That's what separates the human from the beast. So if you're not thinking, thought is what separates the human from the beast. So that thinking, that means you're a beast. You're walking around beast. Now tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, you're going to say I'm wrong, but you can't prove I'm wrong. So that means you are wrong. You have no facts. You just believe. You're in a belief matrix. In the Jerusalem. In the Jerusalem. That's where you are. Took you out of Jerusalem and put you in Jerusalem. Land of illusions. Your whole idea is illusion. What? Video games, illusions. Movies, illusions. So you're not living, you live in a false, you're living in an illusion. Remember that movie, Matrix? They have in a little box, in a little cell someplace, with a tube coming out their ass, and they thought they was in paradise. And that's what they got with you. Because you're still in the plantation. Oh, you know it not? They just upgraded the idea. You still got a boss. Master's the boss. You call boss now. They don't call you slave. They call you employee. And you still work for him. And they give you a check. So now you pay for the shitlins they was giving you. Shitlins. That's what was giving you. And you pay for the shack they was giving you. And you pay for the mule to get you to the job. Because 9% of that so-called car you got is for to get back and forth to your job. And still got the police. That was slave catchers. That's what police, they didn't have police before that. Police were the slave catchers, right? To keep you on, right? To keep you on the plantation and to make sure you're obedient. Why do you think they call the plant, right? See, factory and stuff, plants. Why do they call them plants? They're not flowers and things because it's short for plantation. And you don't get it? You're still on a slave. You just upgraded, the terminology. You're still a slave. Still doing what master tell you to do. See? And they say, well, I can vote. Yeah, okay. So now you can choose what plantation you want to work on. And you can choose which one of master's children is going to run the plantation. And you still, brothers, sisters, I'm not going to be a slave to these people. I want my own land, my own people, my own ways, not their ways. That's counter to our ways. Because if you're not in submission, thinking like they want you to think, because you're not thinking at all to begin with, then they put your ass in prison. And they're aborting your children. And you can't make your children in prison. I mean, it's a whole mess. And they got you all down it. And then you got people trying, oh, I got a degree. They're stupid. 32 degrees is freezing. Do they have 32 degrees? I got 360 degrees. If you got less than 32 degrees, that means your mind's still frozen. They don't have to understand anything. And then you got these demons, master's children. The whole idea is to keep you, right, to spy on you, and to make sure you work hard for daddy. Because the better daddy does, the better they do. Just like a dog. The better the master has, the more money the master has, the better the dog eats. If the master's poor, the dog eats scraps. The master starts making some money, the dog eats dog food. The master make more money, the dog starts eating hamburgers. The master make money, the dog starts eating steaks. So they don't keep you going, motivating you. That's what the preacher come out and tell you. Yeah, man, you stay with master now. You're gonna get paid, but you're gonna get paid after you die. See, you're gonna get paid after you die, man. God's with you. He's gonna make sure you get yours. See, they do all they want to here, but when you after you die, he's gonna give it to you, boy. Say amen. See, that's their job. And all the entertainers, these minstrels all over. That's the minstrels. Keep you entertained. See, keep you motivated. You understand? See, so you keep working for master. God told you, you are their wealth. That's why I'm gonna let you go. You're the gold and silver that you take out with you. That's the original nation plus the Levites. They're the Africans. They're another tribe, but they suffered with us. You're their wealth because you're their creativity. You look around. You see any creativity come out of Germany? Any creativity come out of Russia? Any creativity come out of Europe? It's coming out of here because you're here. And that's the problem they got. Okay, bro, just hope you understand. You live in an illusion. See? You're not living real. You're not living reality. If you can prove it, prove it. Reality you can prove. Matrix, I just believe. That means you don't know. See? And that's why they want you to keep you there. Because mathematics is the only true religion. Everything around you, show me something that religion other than mathematics built. Show me a car that runs off a prayer. Show me one off belief. Show me anything. Anything that prayer created.